Welcome to the Monday Night Men's Forum. I am Matt, Farm Hop Life. This is episode 59. Depop must stop. We have Homestead of Pain and Christopher Secure Coop. Drake, nice, Grant. Grant's messing with his backgrounds, humming along. Drake, I can kind of see you. Oh, there he is. All right, Drake's here. Drake, silvopasturist. Wait, does he know that he's on? Drake, can you hear me? That's okay. We're going to move on. All right. All right. Let's do some personal events. Grant, I don't know how you ended up over there, but let's go.
I've had quite a few personal events recently. I've all forgotten
you.
Today? Oh yeah, that's what I was going to ask. If you were
okay. Anyway, I
don't know what that was. I muted Christopher. I don't know what's going on there.
I had gotten a scholarship this semester from a farmer's market.
Oh yeah.
About an hour north of me. It's for $500. I talked with her, met with her. She is the director of said farmer's market, and she pretty much guaranteed me a spot in her market. I think in perpetuity, it seems. And then we got the appraisal back for the property we're looking to get. It's a lot higher than what it should be. And then I am going to the farmer's market this weekend to sell mums. I'm going to take about 72 mums, and maybe some pickles and other stuff, and take them to the farmer's market this weekend.
Dude, the farmers markets have been weird. Like my wife went on Saturday. No herbs, nothing herbs. It was like regular produce and flowers. So like flowers are like a huge market right now. It's actually kind of annoying.
Oh, see, the thing is I'm gonna blame that on TikTok and Instagram because everybody's like, let's have a flower farm. Like, okay. I mean, try it. It's very untapped. It's like people getting into microgreens or mushrooms. People will say at a certain point, and then it gets to a certain point where all these people do it. A lot of them probably don't make it. And then everybody's like, well, it's oversaturated. I'm like, it's probably oversaturated because you don't know how to do what you're doing. You don't know how to market yourself good enough. Because in my opinion, I don't think you can truly oversaturate what we do at the scale that there are. You can go to another county over and find that market somewhere. There's always, in my opinion, a market for something so small. But yeah, I haven't ever seen herbs at a farmer's market. And I think that's something that people are missing out on.
I mean, my wife wanted to make, I don't remember what it was. She wanted to make some stuff and was just going to go to the farmer's market for some herbs. And
did she want fresh?
None. Yeah.
I don't know how difficult it would be to make and keep fresh cut herbs like that.
I don't know. But yeah, anyways. Christopher, you're looking very like yellow green, like Joe Rogan on ivermectin. I know the photo was fake, but all right.
There we go.
Okay, there you are.
Yeah, it's like washed out. Probably this silly background I've got back on there. You can switch that up. But anyway, personal event. I had a presentation at my local prepper meetup group for. It was called the topic was actually sort of started on this show with some of our discussions about energy. The topic was redneck energy generation.
Yes.
The idea was to what everything goes down and what do you have around you that you can use. So I explored some really simple stuff and some esoteric stuff, some really cool, interesting concepts, and just put them all together in that. And I really enjoyed putting that together and had a good conversation. But
that was Toolman Tim.
What?
Toolman Tim show.
I will be. I plan to be. Yeah.
Okay.
I've asked him to be on his show, but no, that was at my local prepper group down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, the joy of that got eclipsed by my oldest son, who you heard just now. That was the noise that you heard. And
my oldest son, the noise.
he was coming out to Shirley was going to come out to ask me a question about the Bible, because he's been like all of a sudden just ravished to study the Bible. Like he's watching videos, he's listening to, sermons, he's reading, he's just loving it. So that just made my whole week. We sat up till 1 a.m. last night, just talking about different things in the Bible, things like that. It was just neat to sit and talk with him about that and just see his eyes light up with it, So
did he mention the cute girl at church, or
we're in such a small church, there ain't no cute girls. There ain't no ugly ones. There's just nobody.
Cute boys at church?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he just,
hey man, whatever.
Yeah, he just decided that he's going to start, pursuing that as an interest. So he's been just hounding me with questions every few hours.
Nice.
It's a good thing.
Related note, I went to a new church yesterday.
Oh,
that's my personal event.
Yeah,
yep.
I like it.
It was good. It is the Church of Death to Tyrants. It's across the street from Don't Tread on Me, and it's across town from the 3%ers Church, which is like what do they call themselves? Like the come and take it crowd.
Yeah.
So it's the only one that hasn't been Fed infiltrated yet. But I actually went to a new church. I checked out an Orthodox church yesterday.
Oh, okay. Orthodox church. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you like.
I don't know. I'm checking it out.
All right.
So far I like it. So we'll see.
All right.
Yep. That's it. That's my personal event. Drake is coming and going. I don't know wherever he's at. Okay. Moving on. So depopulation. Depop must stop. The voting on this was a nightmare, and it was John's idea too, and he's not even here. So
only like 3 people said anything. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, that was something else. Yeah, there's Drake. Hello, Drake.
He can't hear us. Hello.
Maybe he can't hear us. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Can
you hear us?
Can't hear you.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude, we can hear you. All right. So Grant, you had a lot to say. You had a lot of good things to say about China, I think.
What?
Grant.
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah.
China.
What about it? I don't know.
You had a lot of good things to say about China. When okay, moving on. Christopher.
Let me go back to the chat and check.
What was this article that you linked?
Yeah, so it just so happened to be on Zero Hedge, and it was like, maybe you can pull it up and show it. Is like how the birth rates in Europe are shrinking. And oh, by the way, to put my little to change my hat to
I will go try my
tin foil.
It says I'm all working, but
okay.
I'll be back.
To put a little bit of a tinfoil hat on, I tried to share this link tonight with my Facebook, and Facebook rarely ever has any problem like showing the graphic for the YouTube, and if it does, you just repost it. I try like 4 or 5 times. I couldn't show the graphic for this YouTube, which makes me go, wonder if they don't like this topic being discussed.
Wait, for this show?
For this show. Yeah.
Ah, weird.
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
It wasn't the StreamYard link, right? It was the YouTube link?
It's the YouTube link.
Okay, just double checking.
I always put the YouTube up and never have a problem. So
we got a fine woman in the chat. Hello, Sherry.
So anyway, back to the article. There she is. Hello, Sherry. Back to the article. It was talking about how Europe was depopulating. You want to pull it up?
Sure, I can pull that up.
I went back to the chat and I didn't say a single thing about China. I just said things about the thing I probably can't talk about here.
Sure. All right. Europe's fertility problem.
Yeah, there you are. So they're just having fewer and fewer children, and France is dropping, and there is depopulation going on now. The causes are, of course, the controversy, but it's without doubt that we're going off of a cliff. So,
Sorry, guys. I thought I had this all ready to roll.
That's all right.
Hey, Drake.
You can hear us now? Oh, no, he still can't hear us. All right. This is good. This is great. Okay, so but did it say why, or people they're just having less kids?
Yeah, I don't think they say why in this one. I didn't see it. Yeah, but
so they're having 1.54, and it needed to be 2.05 just to maintain.
Just to maintain. Yeah, about 2. That's with children dying, and of course you need to have a male and a female, and
sure.
So, yeah.
Yep.
And the tinfoil hat I wear is thinking about the Georgia Guidestones and how they were just demolished, and that story got swept under the rug. Like, what was that? What was that about?
I forgot about that, dude.
Yeah,
there's so many weird things that happened in the last few years that you can't keep track of them.
You can't keep track of them all. Yeah. Oh, what was that about? And they were talking about, on the Guidestones, for the viewers who haven't heard of them, they're a large Stonehenge in Georgia, and they have written on them that we, as a society, we need to drive ourselves to only have 500 million occupants on the earth, and that's it, no more. And like a year or two ago, they just got attacked or missile launch or whatever. They got blown.
It was like a controlled demolition
kind
of thing.
Straight up blown away.
They got blown up, and then they cleaned up the evidence before anybody could really investigate, and that was it. Like that's
it was
so
very
weird.
Quick.
It was so weird. So
yep. I mean, so is depopulation even a problem?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'd say it is, with how they're trying to depopulate.
Okay. So it's the depopulation isn't a problem, but the methods of depopulation are?
No. I mean, depopulation is a problem because if you can't replace yourself, replace at least your existing populations, you're going to have a hard time with upkeep and maintenance of all the insane development we've had in the past few years. But at the same time, they're still just trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, Malthusian economics would say there's only a limited number of resources, but history has proven that we can expand the pie. Like the Malthusian economics, the people who say, "Oh, we got to depopulate," the pie is fixed in size. You only have so many resources, but we have found ways to better use our resources. And we got people like permaculturists. I think it was Jeff Lawton. He said that he thinks that the Earth has actually about the carrying capacity of about 8 times what we have, people that we have now.
Based on what?
On just his knowledge of permaculture and how you can expand your resources instead of waste. There's a lot of waste. There's a ton of waste.
So expand them or stretch them. So like you have the same volume of resources, but you're able to use them,
utilize them
to their full potential instead of just I only ate half this banana. Throw it away.
So whether it's stretch or expand, I think the idea is that you're just better making use of what you've already got. And so much of waste is just wasted. It's just it's awful. And that's one of the things I talked about in the Pepper meetup was that from our garbage and from our trash, there's just so many things you can do with even today, but especially grit down, but even today. I see Sharice left a note there. Cherie, let's see what she's. Our family.
Go ahead.
No, our family physician said the alarms are going off amongst the OBGYN because of all the fertility issues. Yeah, and our physician is also a prepper, and he's quite alive. He sent me some interesting interesting videos to watch, and it's neat talking with him. So,
yeah, I think people roughly my age, it seems like 50% of them seem to need some sort of fertility aid in order to get pregnant. Like when they're planning on having kids, it seems like 50% like need some sort of help, or, you know, straight up, you know, IVF, or, you know, a full on surrogate, you know, any number of things.
It's all sorts of things. My child's an IVF child, and, you know, it's like we look at my wife's history, and from her, you know, she was the one with fertility issues, but it's like
I'm not pointing fingers, but
no, but there's you know, like acne drugs that the doctors put her on as a teenager. Like there's Accutane, I believe it's called.
Sure.
Like freaking horrible. They, you know, it's no doubt that's caused problems in her system. You know, and it's she's very healthy and has always lived a good lifestyle. Her mom's, you know, an old hippie. They've always had good food and those things, but just it's all around you, right?
But it's not just that, it's all the other types of medicines they give you and pretty much force onto you. And not only that, now the such wide scale use of something like birth control, which can't be filtered out of our water systems, which just goes back into our water systems, not to mention the terrible food products that we've basically been stuck with our entire lives. It's, you know, it's kind of stacked against you, and now it's more of a standard for people waiting till they're 28, 30 to start having kids, which is fine. But you never really know if most people will wait too late, and then like by the time, if they ever have any hardships, they're 35 years old, so don't have a kid.
Yeah. It's hard.
Matt.
And then also that cost of living is increasing so much. You have the very drastic change in views against children and having children by the, you know, more left scale of these things. Just people like, oh, my dog is my child. I know your dog is a dog. I'm sorry. It will never equate to a child for you. And it's really shifted a lot into that.
Matt, you were back to your original question: is it good or is it bad? I think it's a really good thing to have more humans that are productive. I am ambivalent about millions more idiots. Has anybody not seen at least the intro to Idiocracy?
Yeah.
So
I just watched that movie for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
Nice.
the intro, for the viewers who haven't seen it, it's talking about in present day, the fertility doctors and the surgeons, they work really hard to preserve the idiots of the world who hurt themselves. But the smart people are like, well, the world is just too dangerous to bring children into the world. We think we're going to wait, and so you got the dumb getting dumber and the smart dying out, and so millions more idiots. I don't know that would necessarily be a good future, but millions and millions and millions of smart people working on problems. Humanity has enough problems, so we have more people, we can work on them. So
yeah, but now we got AI, so who cares?
Yeah,
we'll let AI fix it.
That's probably a pice of it. I think that's where
so
we're driving.
You need less people to do the same or greater amount of work.
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
It all works out.
Right.
We don't need all those people. Maybe those guidestones were right. We can just cap it at 500.
Yeah.
500 million.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what in history automations have typically. Automations have an interesting thing. I'm kind of like trying to start an automation company, so this is a topic I like. But automations have canceled some jobs, but opened new ones. So in general, the net effect of an automation is more jobs. So people freak out about the self-checkout lanes. Well, that's freed up people to do other things. And and so, but the AI, AI could be the one that breaks that trend. I don't know.
No, I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I mean, yeah, it is industry like it's not just industry specific. It's every industry. but that's fine. I think we're ready for better stuff, and let's see it. I want better stuff now. So Grant shared something interesting about China. I know he says he didn't. It was actually about Italy.
Italy and China are two very completely different places, sir. I'm sorry.
Whatever. What was it, Grant? Share what you shared.
The thing from Twitter.
Yes, the thing from Twitter.
Do I need to like speak on it?
Just what is it? Like what? Okay, fine.
Okay,
I gotta say everything
to put these words together. Okay, so essentially what it is it's population replacement. You're shipping in thousands and thousands of pretty much young men from Africa and other nations into places like this particular island in Italy, where they imported about 10,000 young men when there's only 6,000 Italians that live on the island.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's almost complete population replacement. And that's a whole different subject.
That seems not good. No. So where did he say where these are coming from?
I read like 2 or 3 things on it, and I was at school all day. I couldn't really sit down and go into it further than that.
Sure.
But it's been happening for decades. It's been happening for years, even here. You know, they keep our borders open while every other country is allowed to keep their borders closed. But almost every single Western nation is importing immigrants, you know, like they can't get enough of them. When you slow down and look at the problems of that excess amount of, you know, what is considered refugees in places like France when it comes to the homeless population, or even more when these people are told to come here. They spend their entire life savings and other people's life savings to get them here, so because they're going to make it. And then when they tell them to get here, tear up your birth certificate and ID number. Okay, well then they can never get back home, but they can also never do anything here. So they're just trapped, and it's basically just a huge smuggling program.
Yeah,
cool.
You said the word smuggling, and that hits on the word I've been thinking about since you're talking about this. Is the slavery? Is like this has echoes of slavery. It's not slavery, but it just kind of seems to me like it has like a lot of the same desires that are driving this. You know,
it's human trafficking for sure.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah.
But it's not like it's human trafficking for the exportation of, you know, children or women. It's more just the monetarily export of these random people who think they're going to get better. And I don't really fault these people. You have to fault the Western leadership.
So who's going to be the Liam Neeson to get all these people back home safely?
Well, they've established their new life.
I feel like if anybody were to come out and try to do that, they'd be labeled a fascist. And you know, subsequently
everybody's a fascist and racist, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's like the new thing.
But what kills me is
what up, my fascist?
Is all these people from different nations coming to the United States, which I get is the land of opportunity, to build a better life for themselves, when they could stay in their country, put in the work to build up their nation, and put their nation where their nation should be with its own greatness. And that fails a lot of the time, again, because of external influences from other nations, like the United States. The Somalia, back whenever, had a pretty stable, you know, they were pretty stable for a long while until the CIA came in and pretty much, you know, gave these warlords a whole bunch of, you know, weapons, and then they just destabilized everything.
Well, that's all of Latin America too. You know, all the wave it's been, you know, ag subsidies, dumping grain into their market since the 70s. Like, we've destabilized all these places.
Mm-hmm. It plays into the fact that everything is broken. Like, all this is kind of one big circular chain, and every link is pretty much broken everywhere.
I would like to add, like there's nothing wrong with immigrants like on their own. Like we used to be. I mean, this is like a nation of immigrants, right? They used to come, like people would come here because like they gave up everything just to be here, and like they made like a name. Like they wanted success, they wanted to own things, they wanted their kids to like have a better life, and like they can still do all these things. But like I think we also like we made it way too easy. So like if you don't want to do anything, well then you don't have to do anything. You'll be taken care of. But like when you have everything to lose, that's like when you're gonna like work harder and make sure you're not gonna fail, because you know what it's like to have nothing. You don't want to go back.
Yeah, and I don't fault people for coming here. But
yeah, it's awesome.
Look at every single class of people.
Except for Drake, he left.
You look at the Irish. The Irish came as indentured servants. You look at all the, when a lot of the Asian group came in. Well, they were kind of put to work building railroads. I mean, that's the job. However, if they were forced into it, or the only jobs they could really take. Every single different group of people, if you look at them ethnically, that came to the United States, every new group got ultimately shit on every single time.
Sure.
If it went from one to the next. So you had the Italians. The Italians came, well, then you had the Irish, and then everybody shot on them. And then the Germans came, and everybody shot on them. So it's not like this is exclusive to specific groups of people, if you understand what I'm hitting at.
Sure.
And so yeah.
So this importation of other cultures is a way to. Do you think it's actually snuffing out? I guess. Born citizens or whatever the term is.
So if kind of a big thing is. Most people will say that white people don't have a culture, which is strange.
That makes no sense, because like, okay, what kind of white? Like British white, Russian white, like
Eastern Europe, Western Europe,
German white, yeah.
So
Viking white,
exactly, and it's like. Everybody has their own culture, but specifically taken to the America, they always kind of push it as the American melting pot or whatever. Like, that's so stupid, because most immigrants, let's be honest, they don't melt, they don't assimilate.
Sure, they stick to their own.
They come in, they build their own little mini Mexicos, their own little mini Iraqs, and they set up their own shops, which is fantastic. Bring in your culture, your heritage, and build that here. Learn some English, people. Speak English, people. Come on now. I'm sorry, but if you live in a community of everybody around you speaks Spanish, okay, you're not really coming here and assimilating. You're not really coming here and taking part in our nation.
I know.
That's kind of where it gets me off.
Well, it spreads out. Like Miami has a lot of Cubans, and there is now being recognized a Miami English, and there's not a whole lot of differences. But one thing that I remember was from the article I read that in Miami English you don't get out of the car, you come down from the car, and there's a few other things that they have picked up from Spanish speakers who use Spanish language rules to form English words, to with their grammar. So they use Spanish grammar rules on English language.
That's cool. That sounds pretty cool.
And it's turned into its own language. So the first generations maybe don't assimilate, but I think the second, third, and fourth start to. And by the way, so we're back. Matt, you were talking about earlier how immigrants used to come in and benefit. And I remember
they used to come in and whoop ass. That's what they used to do.
There was a talk that Milton Friedman gave about immigration that really changed my mind on it. And he said that before 1918, or whatever it was roughly in there, the immigration was a blessing to America. It always increased our prosperity. People always came in and worked. And he said the difference is after about that time frame, we started to have welfare. We started to have, so the Republicans are just as guilty of this as the Democrats with their push for Social Security. And all of that means that immigrants, when they come in, they can become citizens and absorb a lot of those social programs. But if we didn't have them, immigration would actually be a huge net benefit. But because we have so many gimmies, that it's actually a drain on society. So
I can see that.
Yeah,
and so much of those things too are they're stacked against work. Like we saw that in Canada with the COVID CERB program, which was supposed to be a bridge, but then they didn't let anybody work. Like, okay, if you want to give them some welfare to get on their feet, but then don't disqualify them the moment they get a job. Have some bridge so that there's some benefit to getting a job. And now it's almost like it's a detriment. If you get a job, we're going to take away your support.
Give them like a 6 month, slow, release from said that. Give them 6 months within a job.
You just can't make it either or. Can't be take the benefits and don't work, or work and don't get any.
Yeah,
benefits.
at some point there has to be some overlap so you can actually peacefully transition off of that.
All right, I got a statistic here.
Yeah.
In 2020, state and local governments spent $791 billion on public welfare.
I'm going to be real with you guys. I feel like 80% of that just went into people's pockets before it even made it anywhere.
Sure.
When you throw numbers around like that, $700 billion is such an insane number. How many hands does that go through before it reaches to who it needs to? I mean, how many hands are getting in that pie and pulling out fistfuls of, hundreds of thousands of dollars before it actually goes to who it needs to go to?
So when it goes to immigrants that are in the States, sometimes they'll give them away to their neighbors. But when they spend it in the States, unless an immigrant is doing, investing in some personal business or in some stocks or some bonds for themselves, if they're not investing, that money just flows out toward business owners. So more or less, welfare is a subsidy on business owners.
But only it depends on where they shop. So if it's like, let's say, like Grant's talking about, so the whoever comes in, they go to their little cultural area, right? Probably have those small business owners, like they spend money with those small business owners, so it stays in their little community and not everyone else. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well,
okay.
Let me. When a person invests in a business, then that money goes to their own pockets. But otherwise, it goes to someone else. A business owner, when he buys supplies, he's going to buy it from big conglomerate or Walmart or,
Sure.
So that money eventually just finds its way out of it, even if it circulates.
To the big corporations anyways.
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of local shopping, period.
Sure.
A woman might go get her nails done. The guy is going to get a haircut. But a lot of that stuff now just goes out to the big corporations.
So it pretty much just goes to BlackRock and Vanguard. That's
where it all ends up.
Like everything, like the whole push to bail out people with college debt. If you use your brain to think about it, what is that doing? If you're going to give $1.3 trillion to clear all college debt, what are you doing? You're giving the banks money.
Yeah.
You're bailing out big banks.
100%.
They're getting it anyways. What's the matter?
It's basically a bailout for the banks again. At this point,
that sounds good. We're probably so far screwed that who cares?
Exactly. I mean,
let's just go for it. Let's see what happens. We're in a simulation, anyways. This is a simulation.
They're treating it like
It's all simulation. That's funny.
Man, I had something. Now I lost it.
Gardening.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
Okay,
so Scott were here, be like, so what are solutions? Give me solutions.
Yeah. We gotta think on solutions.
I think I did my part. I have 2 kids. Grant, you should have like 3 by now. So
I think time-wise, only one could have been possible, and unless they're stacking in the womb, only one could have been possible at this point.
Nice.
Did you get
your girlfriend a Berkey water filter or something like that to make sure she's drinking clean water? And
I guarantee you she's not drinking clean water. She hardly ever drinks water. So it doesn't matter.
So there's birth control in the Gatorade or something?
No, it's mostly like sweet tea and milk.
Milk's all right.
All right.
I love
milk's
milk.
all right.
I could drink like a gallon a day.
For sure.
I'm not joking.
I believe it. I believe you. Other solutions besides Grant and his girlfriend repopulating the planet.
He's countering the depopulation trend.
I would say, if you look at who is pushing this depopulation, how they're affecting this depopulation, it all stems back to our government and their policies, again, with welfare and other policies towards families. And also just the current social climate is not in favor. I feel like it's slowly starting to kind of climb backwards, but you're constantly being poisoned. Unless everybody really drastically look at their health. The age of life, I guess what you call it, is extending constantly, but you're not living that life. If you're 70 and they're just pumping you full of so much crap that your body can't die and decay by itself because it's just so full of so many drugs, you're basically mummifying yourself alive.
Yeah.
People are going to live longer, and they're going to take more out of the system. They're going to take more of a strain on everything. And then on top of, so it kind of goes towards, Canada's, you have a cold, we'll euthanize you. So it's a difficult subject. Because
if government caused this problem, is government the only one that can fix it? Really, through incentives?
There's a form of government
the cause,
that
love,
can
and
fix
solution
it.
to all of life's problems.
I don't think the form of government that can fix it will be the best type of government.
So what, like economic incentives? So like tax breaks or subsidies or something.
So there are a lot of tax breaks already, but I think you have to look at it as the kind of tax breaks it gives. Make it strictly for married couples. As much as I get.
I thought it promoted unmarried couples. So like a single woman gets more than.
Yeah, that's not necessarily tax breaks. That's free health care.
Oh, sure.
You're a single mom with 18 children from 92 different dudes. It's just. I don't
know how that math works, but I'm curious.
Trust me, that math's there. It's
it was a kind of like a share a cup kind of situation. This is gross.
I'm not gonna say that joke.
Thanks. This is a family show, remember?
Yeah. So that's more of a, in my opinion, a welfare issue. But giving tax breaks to families, absolutely. I just don't think we should have taxes. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's not going to happen in the next 10 generations.
Nope.
There aren't fixes to these problems. There
aren't fixes to these problems.
There are solutions to these problems.
What's that mean? What's a solution versus a fix? Oh, you're saying it'll never get fixed.
There are solutions you can create, but they will never fix the problem because the problem is created intentionally.
Okay, so then couldn't you fix the problem intentionally?
No, it will never happen. There's just one final solution.
Nuke them all. Take off from orbit and nuke them from orbit.
What is?
I mean, yes.
What are we on?
I'm
lost now.
You have let me talk for way too long.
I'm kind of regretting that part.
I'm loving it.
Where are we anymore? You lost me. Thanks for derailing the show.
So solutions. I mean, one is to turn. I don't think these solutions are going to be adopted. I'm not optimistic they'll be adopted. They could, but one is to turn the people's opinions away from more humans are evil. We're like Jack Spirko likes to say, such and such as man-made, not natural, is a false statement because mankind is part of nature.
Yeah.
So one is we returning to a perspective that more humans are not bad. More humans can be a blessing, can be. And then the other thing would be just more exposure to permaculture thoughts and ideas. And I think that would just do so much to help the first go, which is to help people have the opinion that humans are not bad.
So permaculture would be return of surplus. So you take the surplus humans and compost them.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an article not too long ago about like, hey, how about cannibalism? Like, ever thought about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's normalize.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Who wrote that anyways? I'm gonna look that up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just as you have if you can imagine just like a third of the lawns in America were changed to vegetable gardens, people would say to themselves, we do have enough that we could have more kids. And we don't need to be in a debt slave. We could do this, and we could, and just let that trend continue. I'm not optimistic about it, but I think that would be a good solution if people wanted to accept it. So
that's kind of what I was saying. Is there are solutions, but they're not.
We got back to Grant's Garden really quick.
You can't permaculture your way out of this for everybody, if that makes sense. People have to come to that decision themselves, and an overwhelming majority of people will not reach that decision. An overwhelming majority of people will not push for these changes to be made because they're complicit.
We're living in idiocracy.
We are.
Yeah.
And when you have all these things, you can't govern. I don't think you can government your way out of these problems.
Nope.
I don't think there will be a strong enough cultural shift to truly get us out of where we are. Because you look at it from the permaculture side of just growing enough food for your family. Well, what does that do? That just breaks, that just helps repair the chain of the food system, of the over industrialized agriculture industry. It takes it more into individuals' hands. But when the rat race, nobody slows down enough to even start that.
Yeah, that rat race does keep us quite occupied, doesn't it?
That's why we have a race, to keep us in it.
Keep us.
I think one idea, if I can add in there, that sort of both the last two thoughts I think are circling around is, well, I'll step back and say I think like the fertility issue is really two parts, and we've kind of touched on like there's chemical and environmental issues whereby people that want to have kids are not able to.
Oh yeah.
And probably even another more subtler part of that, to where people are missing a drive that they don't even know that they're missing, because of some of these same hormone disruptors and those sorts of things, and other toxins. But then I think the other piece that really drives like the people that aren't having babies because of climate change or whatever is really, and I don't like this word in a more general sense, but it's hope. And people don't have a lot of hope. And so that's where I think like, when people, if we talk about this idea of whether it's permaculture gardens, really it's not the food that people are worried about, because really a lot of people aren't so crunched with food that they're actually not having kids for fear of feeding them, but they don't have hope and they're not inspired. And so your garden's not going to feed their family, but even just like the beauty of your garden can inspire. And then I think it's like beauty and hope, it can be a wellspring that sort of leads to.
You would think that Grant would be the most hopeful then. He's like the least hopeful.
Well, see, that's the thing. My white pill turns. It starts as a black pill, because it's like you're not.
Yeah, it's always black pill first.
You're not gonna peace and love your way out of this situation at all.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe that's the only.
You just have to outlast everybody else. You know what I mean? So I'm always extremely optimistic for the future. We're not in the future. We're in now. We'll be in the now for the next 10 years.
Well,
my future is my children's future.
I don't think you know how time works.
Which is
it's not. I'm not speaking in such of a linear aspect in time. It's more when you think of the white pill and the black pill situation. When you're black pill, you think nothing. Everything is screwed and there is no hope. Period. For me, it's more of a realistic white pill. Well, shit's gonna get bad, really bad. That's why you have to prepare yourself enough to feed your family and any other families that have been placed in your path to take care of.
And you'll pull out through the other side of that event, and you'll be the strong one.
There is your hope. There is your white pill. You will live through it.
Well, and the element of time is why I don't really like the idea of hope too, because hope is this future thing where we're, wanting a better future, but we should just really do, I don't hope for a better future for my child. I give her a better now. That's really all we can do is make a better now.
You can't hope for a better future. You have to make a better future.
You have to make a better now, and then eventually,
yes,
make it better now will be.
Yes, exactly.
Now. Yeah.
That was way better, Drake. Thank you. That was way better than anything Grant ever said.
I'm pretty sure I laid some good groundwork for him to, spruce it up for me.
Yeah. He softened it up for me.
Maybe he was just tired of you talking.
I'm tired of me talking. I'm sleepy.
I'm sleepy.
Shoot.
I hope it's not distracting him. I hear processing giant. I went to my mushroom yard right before dinner, and I've just got piles and piles of shiitakes I've been putting.
Oh, wow.
There's the gardening aspect.
There's the gardening.
This is the result of our chat so far. Is these are about to go in the dehydrator.
Which one of those mushrooms do you got to eat in order to live 10 years from now?
Well, one will make you taller.
All of them.
You got to eat all of them.
Taller, shorter.
Yeah.
Time travel. I've seen the future. It's now.
The future is now.
The future is now. So, about them bugs. Okay, bugs? Nah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I was trying to look up real quick some other solutions.
All right.
But I think that was really just like the biggest one is like you can't be thinking about. Yes, there's problems today.
Yeah.
And in 10 years, there's going to be new problems on that day. And so you just got to like keep moving forward and like planning ahead. Like life is just constantly solving problems for a better now, more convenient tomorrow.
Yeah.
And from the perspective I say a lot of the people have and are kind of, I guess, bubble is the problems we have today will progressively get worse and spiral into increasingly greater problems in the future. They're not necessarily going to be new problems. They're going to be problems built off of problems that are built off of problems.
I've learned to be not so dogmatic about the future because this is not the first time in history we've had crises. So
you can't change it.
So I think that we're in a dangerous place, but they could turn it around. Who knows? There could be some miracle.
So do you think it's like a governing body needs to change this, or is it like a group collective of just like regular people that are like, there's gonna like a mindset shift that's just like,
yeah, it's gotta be.
We were thinking like this, and then slowly.
It's got to be a mindset shift.
Well,
because
it has to be a mindset shift because it can't be a governmental shift.
Yeah, government can impose solutions, but if people don't follow, they're just not going to follow.
And I think that's a hopeful idea too, because I think the idea of like a conscience shift or collective conscience shift means that we don't have to shift every last person. I think there are tipping points here. And I forget what the theory is, like the 30th monkey or whatever, right? Like there's a point where it just like flips, especially because I think the people that are so rooted in despair, they're actually unmoored to anything. So it's despair, so they're floating, and if you think about the analogy of being unmoored, and then if there's hope that's moored to something, it's much easier for that despair to sort of flip over because they don't really have a foundation. It's more lost and floating. And so if there's hope that's rooted, or if there's a better reality rooted in a solid foundation, it's by its nature going to create its own gravity almost.
Yeah. All right.
Where those lost folks don't have it.
I gotta share something here. This right here. All right. So there's this dude. Oh my gosh, this is way too loud.
And let's watch a movement happen.
I'm sure you guys can't hear this.
I can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I don't know why this works in none of my other videos that I tried to play on here. Whatever. Anyway, so this guy's just dancing by himself, and this second guy comes in and starts like it's called first follower.
Yeah.
It's not about the leader anymore. It's about them. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. It takes guts to be a first follower. Stand out. Ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated.
Like now, this looks like super goofy.
First follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut, and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers, because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now.
Here they come running.
Won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made.
Yeah.
So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you.
All right, blah, 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 whatever. You guys get it. So that's like the 30th monkey thing, I'm guessing, that Drake is talking about.
Yeah,
so like
similar.
All of a sudden we're the hive mind or whatever is like, no, whatever situation we're currently in, the trend is shifting, and there's the tipping point. Now there's a lot of momentum in the other way.
And I think we're seeing that with like the homeschooling movement, because when I was a kid, it was like 100,000 people nationwide, and now thanks to COVID, I mean, leftist teachers insisting that children stay at home was the best gift that the homeschool movement could have ever gotten, because the numbers exploded, and now we're in the multiples of millions of kids nationwide. It's just growing higher and higher and higher. So movements do, like, there is hope.
Can I just tell you a little bit about the monkey thing? I looked it up. It's the 100 monkey principle about collective consciousness, and it talks in the 50s. There was a group of scientists that did research on macaque monkeys in Japanese island. What did they do? And they would drop these monkeys sweet potatoes. However, just one young monkey one day took and he rinsed the sand off of his sweet potato at a nearby lake, and discovered that he liked it better. And then not long after that, more monkeys on the island adopted the ritual. And then as monkeys spread out, like monkeys that had never come in contact with ever a sandy sweet potato in their life, just by habit, were then ritualistically washing all their food. And so this idea was, the 100 monkey principle. So it wasn't 30. The 100 monkey principle of collective consciousness. And it just, talks out of sort of, it's like energetic change can ripple through. We don't, it doesn't have to be everybody doing what Joel Salatin did because he made a nice chicken tractor. Eventually these ideas sort of catch on and people are adopting them and bringing, whatever it is, stewardship principles, ethics of permaculture into their life without ever having that like driving impetus. But the energy of that whole of the system is rippling through, through in sort of in a sense creating culture around this idea, whatever it may be.
Sure. And like I've heard of Joel Salatin. I've read one of his books, but I don't follow what he does. I follow what other people do who probably have followed Joel Salatin. And so like I'm that 101 monkey or whatever.
Yeah.
You look like a monkey.
And
thanks.
There you go.
Very nice.
All right.
That's it.
That's it. All right. I can't think
of
anything else to add.
Yep. That sounds great. Grant, give us a gardening update.
My figs.
I was kidding. All right. What didn't we talk about that you guys wanna touch on real quickly?
I would just say that one thing is contributing to this issue of depopulation, driving people to want to not have children, is a separation of the concept of sex from making children. I mean, for me, it's a beautiful thing. When I studied biology, think about replication of plants and our all natures are like, I want a wife so that I can have children. It's the impulse, that's the nature. And so when we deny that, we just sort of see things start breaking down. And I want to see more and more people make that solid. It's an obvious connection, but it's not. I don't think it's just well rooted. It's like it's for having children, but not really. It's also for having fun, and we're going to focus on the having fun part. But it's just one and the same. And get people start thinking more and more about biology, about making more humans, and putting those connections back together more solidly. I think would go too far to us. No, more humans are not necessarily a bad thing. So,
Grant, what was your mom's advice?
Huh?
About sleeping naked or whatever?
Keeping your testicles full. Well, son, that's right. Joel, what's his name? Joe Rogan. Talk about sunning your testicles.
No, not even that.
Not even that. Huh?
That's different advice.
Yeah.
Grant's mom is not Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
No. I don't remember exactly how I worded it or how to word it now.
It was something about newlyweds should sleep in bed naked.
Yeah, pretty much.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
will say another. There's a huge disconnect. I know a lot of the things I speak from is kind of from my age group and my age group's ish perspective, and there's a huge disconnect from just the stupidity of what is my generation. And I don't feel like they're gonna get the message to have hope I don't think there's going to be 100 monkeys to kind of come together and have a singular thought. So I do think it is short-term doom, long-term win. Very, very much so.
Yeah, I got to play the long game.
It's always a long game. If you are doomed for the long run, I'm sorry. I have several friends that are extremely black-pilled to no hope forever. It's we're just finished. We're done.
Yeah.
Having hope in the end, in my opinion, is what makes it a white pill, because it's not going to be okay right now. It's fine. We're alive. We're living, but it's not really going to be okay. I mean, food prices are increasingly going up. Everything is increasingly going up. Where does that stop? What's breaking point? There are other breaking points almost in every single market right now that will eventually have some type of correction that is not just a very nice, lovely little floating correction. That is what, in my opinion, is the darkness. There's always going to be a hard time before the good time. And that's just pretty much it. Depopulation is just another facet to the other myriad of things that are problems right now. There's just so many problems right now that you can maybe fix one, but you still got 99.
Hard times make strong men make good times, times make weak men, and weak men make hard times.
Look, if it all crumbles, look at how much cool stuff that we get to build in the rubble, right?
I know,
right? We get to rebuild this stuff.
I just did that presentation. I just did that presentation.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Just let me wrap that up real quick. That's why it's like I feel like a lot of people get it wrong trying to focus on the external. You can literally only focus on the internal. I feel like we had an episode recently about worrying about things that you can't control. All of this plays into, you can't control depopulation. You're not Genghis Khan. I mean, you can't fix it. So I don't personally see the need to have to worry about it.
Sure. Yeah, just more robots to do more work. All right. Thanks, Grant. I'm
selling moms this weekend at a farmer's market in Ringgold, Georgia, Rabbit Valley Farmer's Market. And I'm going to make a video on TikTok about my fig trees that lay rooted. And I'm going to finish up an article for Scott for Thriving the Future podcast.
Very nice. Thank you. Where's Christopher? There's Christopher.
SecureCoop.com. I am working on a coop door opener with phone notifications, and after that, I'll be expanding to go through all of the backyard space. I'm currently doing beta testing, and I guess if the beta testing is clean and good and nice and no major issues, we'll start seeing it in people's hands. I thought I would have a video by now, but just time drags, things drag out. We're getting there. So SecureCoop.com, there's a coupon below, and there is a coupon on the website if you sign up for the mailing list, where I can keep you updated on the progress of it.
Excellent. Thank you. And Drake.
Yeah, I'm just here doing my thing. Fall's exciting. I'm about to start letting the sheep breed and do that co-creative thing we've been talking about here, and about to plant a whole bunch more chestnuts. It's a beautiful time of year, hauling stuff in, and the days start to get short, so it feels real crunched. There's more to do and less light to do it every day. So
absolutely.
Thanks for including me. I really appreciate the thoughtful conversations.
Of course. Yeah, I came back from vacation, and I'm like, when did it get so dark so fast? This is dumb.
Every day is crazy.
Yeah. And I'm Matt Rozier. I operate farmhoplife.com. We're a traveling homestead family. It's a podcast of interviews. This men's forum. I also do a mini series of famous farmers. So next week, I just did Alan Savory. And then I'm going to have, what's the next one? I don't know, some French guy that Alan Savory took all his ideas from. And farm tours. this weekend I'm going to go to northern Montana to do a interview. Well, a re-interview. I already interviewed this woman, Lauren in the Wild. One of my favorite interviews. So go check her place out.
Did you get called a hippie this past week for your traveling interviews?
I did. And next week we're going to be talking about Jeremy and that guy. So
Cool.
hope he makes it so we can talk